Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games, back with another cool arcade game repair video for you today. Our buddy Mike brought us his boxer machine. Look at this thing. It's like 8 feet tall. Big old fiberglass knockout vending boxing game. You may have seen these at the beach and things like that. But it isn't working right. Whenever he brought it, it was resetting over and over and over again. It would come on and just tick, 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 tick. So we swapped out the power supply, put a new power supply in it, and it now boots up, but it still doesn't play right. Part of the problem is I don't know what it's supposed to do. So we're working on it. We figured we'd film it for you. You may be interested in this. KnockoutVending.com. It says, use at your own risk. Knockout Vending. Insert bill, press start button, hit the ball with your fist, watch your score. Use at your own risk. It's common knowledge that people have broke their wrists on these things. So it says back here, your score is 0. The high score is 677. I can probably beat that. And then it says credit FR, which I think means free. And so it says Chris Sport on this girl's fighting pants there. She looks like a ninja. She looks like she could beat somebody up. Look at her. But I'm judging that just on her clothes, so she might not be that bad. And then there's another girl over here who's wearing boxing shorts. And then there's a guy here who apparently got knocked the heck out. But it gives you a number here. So you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then on this side, that looks like Sugar Ray Leonard. That looks like Muhammad Ali. That looks like Buster Douglas. No, who does that look like? I don't know. Right? This is Holyfield. Maybe. Yeah. That's Mike Tyson. It's not Joe Frazier, I don't think. I don't know who that's supposed to be. One of them should be George Foreman, but that doesn't look like George Foreman, and that doesn't look like George Foreman. And then you've got Rocky Marciano, I believe. Pretty cool. Okay, so we put a new power supply in it, and I'll show you what it does when you turn it on. Okay. So watch the little LEDs here. They come on. Okay, so it's basically booted up, but there's no sound or anything yet. And we have a start button up here. Now here's the deal. If I hit the start button, watch this. See the little dash? The dash, I believe, is it reset. Right? And it was lighting up a few of the boxers. And that's just all it does. So it just resets. And then if you hit it, nothing happens because it's actually waiting for you to start. Every time you do it, as the bag drops, it resets. See the blue lights? And then your start button again. So now if you hit start, the bag's already down. Error 1. Okay? Because it was trying to drop the bag when the bag was already dropped. So something is happening as it drops. There's a little sensor up here that senses it going back up, and that sensor is making it reset, I believe. So my whole point is, it didn't reset when the bag was already down. It only resets when the bag drops. Mystery! So if I turn it off and back on, it'll clear the error code. Okay. this is how to change some of our settings. ChrisSport.com, they have the manual on there, but it just kind of tells you how to play it. It doesn't really show what our problem is. So let me brighten this up a little bit. You know who I need to help me figure this out? Our buddy, what's his name? Up in Wildwood. He knows all about these. He knows all about these. Todd Tuckey could probably help me with it too. Okay, so the power supply is down here. New power supply. The boards are getting their stuff. All of this seems to be working. It could be that this main board is giving us trouble when the sensor activates or something. I don't know. And this is like a servo board to make this work, which pulls this chain, which is what releases the bag. Alright. So, if you look, let's drop it one more time. See, it's waiting for us. We hit start, and it makes it reset. So, there is a board right up in here that you can't see. But basically there is a bar on the top of this that goes through a sensor, and there's a sensor board up here. So I'm going to take that sensor board out and put it on the bench and make sure everything looks good on that. It could be that there's something on it that's messed up, and as that, so when the bag goes up, a bar goes through a sensor, and then whenever the bag drops, that bar goes back through the sensor. That could be sending the board something that it doesn't like and making it reset, or there might be a pinched wire, or it's shorting power together, or something like that. So I'm going to get up in there and pull that board out, and we'll check it. So this is up above the front bag. So we got this little plate we're going to take off. It has big old bolts on it, which I guess are I can't tell what they're holding on, but we're going to find out. So I'm going to take those off. The plate is actually mounted. The thing that we're talking about is actually held on by these. But I'm going to get this cover off so we can see up in there a little bit. So I kept looking, and there's actually a couple wing nuts up on the top. So you can take the whole top off. That works a lot better. But now I got to get up in the top, so I'm going to go get a something I can stand on so we can look up in there at that board and hopefully find our problem. So we're up on the top. There is a plate right here with a little board under it. And you can see as the bag goes up, I don't know why you can't see it from there, but there's a bar that moves through that sensor, and that's what makes it work. So we need to get that little board out so we can look at it. So that's next. So here is the little board. Okay. So it mounts up in there like that. That's how we were looking at it from the top. Okay. And then the punching bag has an arm on it that goes through here. Okay. If the arm doesn't go through there, like if I hold the arm up, it errors out because it never saw the bag drop. So it must be able to tell that the bag dropped. But whenever it sees the bag drop, it resets the game. If you hold the bag while it's trying to drop and then carefully let it down, as soon as the bar passes through there, it resets. So it could be something wrong with this board, or it could be the signal that it's sending back to the main board it doesn't like and it's making it reset. That would suck, because this little board looks fixable to me. But that main board, not so much. But we'll see. So I'm going to take it off this bracket and we'll look. So we've got a brown line here, a green line in the middle, and a blue line here coming in. I believe all that's 12 volts. So let me pull this off and we'll look at the other side of the board. There shouldn't be much there. So I got it off the mount, and after looking at the wiring and in the cabinet, this is not the power. That's just the it's a connector to go from here to the start button. They're just piggybacking it onto this little board. All of the power and everything runs through the ribbon cable. So these three wires just run from here to the start button. And so one is a ground, one is the LED, if you remember the LED blinks, and the other one is the actual switch. So they come back and just connect. See, it even says start LED. They just connect to the ribbon cable. Okay. And then there are separate signals that run over into the to make the sensors work. I can't find anything that's not working properly, but I don't really have a way to check the sensors, which I would assume would be the problem. There's two transistors here that test fine. Let me see if I can tell what they are. I can't really see through the camera, but you may be able to tell. I tested them with a meter and did not see BC546 A07. So I guess they're A07s. Maybe. Okay. They both test the same using like a diode test. And then the sensors, I've got TCST2103 and V69948. Okay, so I guess one of them will emit, one of them will catch. All the resistors test fine. Transistors test fine, and I'm getting similar readings if I just test with a resistance check, basically. On these two and these two, but I mean that doesn't really mean anything. That could even be how they've got the resistors wired up. So I guess I'm going to turn it. I'm going to try to plug this back in with just the ribbon cable. You don't need this because it's just the start button. So I'm going to just plug it back in with just the ribbon cable and see if I can tell if it's emitting anything. And then another thing we could do is put the game up in a track mode and then run something through here and see if that makes it reset. I don't see how that's really possible. But that's what it's doing, so I don't know. Maybe something was shorted, and when we removed it, it got rid of that. But I haven't. I didn't see anything that looked kinked on the ribbon cable or anything like that. So it's a conundrum. Okay, so we're making some progress. So that board, I couldn't see anything wrong with it. But it's also doing it. You know, the servo motor in the back. Let me show you. So when you hit the button, this starts pulling in, which pulls a little catch in the front and makes it drop. Well, so when it drops, it's making it reset, but it's probably that's trying to go back the other way or something, right? So what I did was I unplugged that. So now, check this out. See this start button here? So, using one of our handy dandy business cards here. If you put it in there, right, and then you hit start, it thinks it's dropping the bag. So if you move the card through it, it thinks that the bag dropped. Okay? So, well, it didn't think. I did it backwards that time. But if you mess with it, basically it thinks that the bag dropped. You got to go through it the right direction, though. There we go. I believe our problem is the servo motor is what's making it reset, or the power supply. Just loading up on that motor. Okay, so if I run the card through it, you see it actually. I got a 2. The high score is a 677. I got a 2. I'm starting pretty good, people. But I did it with a business card, so I mean, that's not bad for a business card. So what does all that mean? I think I got to mount that board back in there, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's something going on with the servo motor or the power board that runs the servo motor. It's drawing down the voltage and making the thing reset or something like that, and there are capacitors on there. So I'm going to put the board back in, and then we're going to pull that little servo board out and see if we can see anything on it. Alright, see this little clamp, this bar is connected to this cable, and it's basically what's holding up the bag. Okay, so whenever it starts, it's going to turn around and attempt to pull that in so that the bag can drop. Okay, but then whenever it does, the sensor tells that the bag has dropped, and then I guess tells the servo to go the other way, and that's what's making it reset. If you unplug the servo, it doesn't do it. Okay, so watch. Pulling it in, bam. And that made it reset. Okay? So it's when it reverses that's the problem. Okay, we'll do it again. Now watch when it resets. It's when it goes, and it's trying to go back. It's like basically it doesn't, whenever it disengages, it causes some kind of, the power goes the wrong way and makes the thing reset. So there is that motor. Okay, we're going to do it one more time so you can see what's going on, if I can reach it. See? It errored that time because I had the bag. Let's try it again with the bag up. I don't think that thing there is serviceable, though. I don't think there's anything you can do to oil it or anything. Maybe. Perhaps. Okay, here we go. Now watch when you hear the bag drop. And it resets. So whenever, as soon as it starts going back the other way, it resets. So I'm thinking maybe here. What do you think? So this thing is running off of, this is 12 volts. And here's the power out. So we probably got something going on there. Let's pull that board out. So here is the board. This is where that front board and the start button plugged in. This is where the main board on the front with all of the displays and the little light boards and stuff, they all plug in there. Up here is an audio connector. The coin mech and power to the audio amp connect here. And then up here, it says 12 volts AC. It's not. It's all DC. Yeah, the whole thing's confusing. So it has power coming in from the power supply, and it plugs in there, but it's DC. And then this, like electromagnet, there's a jumper that goes from here down to here. Okay. So it almost looks like it's all backwards. So it says N1, N2. That's where the power is coming in. 12 volts. Okay. And then you see they've jumpered over where there would have been a bridge rectifier. So the thing was designed apparently to run on AC, but they've got it running on DC. And then over here it says 12 volts AC. That's actually 12 volts DC going out to the motor. And then the motor plus and minus are the other two wires on the 4-wire motor, so it can move the servo this way and that way. So it appears that the problem is it's coming down, but then it doesn't. When it goes back up, something's acting up. If I unplug the motor, though, it works fine and doesn't reset. So you would think that would rule out it being the relays. I don't know. It may be the motor's on its last legs. So I think all I can really do here, I need to find out what this is. R8. I'm going to go see if it says in the on that sheet on the back what that does. And why is there a crystal on this board? I'm sure there's a good reason for that. And then there's some capacitors here I guess I could replace, but they look all right. You know, a lot of times they'll have the tops domed if they're really bad, but maybe they're tripping. So up here, this is an MP3 player, actually. All right. And there's a card on there, so I assume you could probably go through it and replace the files with whatever music you wanted. And you might have to rename them whatever it's named on the file, but like it looks like it's MP3s on that on that SD card. So maybe we'll do that in another video. There's a couple caps up here too. And another relay. I think since we're unplugging the motor and it doesn't do it with that unplugged, I think we're looking at that's pulling so many amps whenever it tries to do its thing that's our problem. But I think I'm going to go see what this is, just in case that's something we need to adjust. Okay, so in the manual it doesn't say anything about R8, and it doesn't say anything about what the dip switches do. Okay? But I believe that company makes a bunch of different machines, so I think this is probably a generic part they're using in a bunch of their stuff. But check this out. Oh, hello, nice to see y'all. Had no clue you were there. So you've got some kind of diode, you've got some kind of processor or something running stuff. I don't know if it's well, it probably is a processor since they have that crystal on the other side. You got all kinds of stuff. Right. And then over here, look at this. You have a diode that's right across the plus and the minus going to the motors. And wouldn't you know it, if I check that sucker, you heard me, that sucker. Chopsticks time. Come on, baby. Come on now. Come on now. Everybody's watching. We gotta do better than that. You know what it is? It's these little things right here. They always mess me up. I'm gonna have to start using my other probes. Well, I bet you can see where I'm going with this. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to edit out 15 minutes of junk. Okay, the diode in-circuit test shorted. So it could be the diode, and it could be there's a little cap right there next to it. Could be that little cap, the little box cap, or it could be just the way that they have the relays wired. If one of them's not on, it's shorted or something. Because it could be that this one turns on, and then this one of the two's always on, or something like that. But you can bet your butt I'm going to pull out the diode and the cap and check them real quick. Hopefully one of them shorted, and that would probably be the whole problem. Wouldn't that be great? I'm going to be so excited if that's it. Well, I removed one of the relays, and I had to put the cap on the back whenever I put it back, but I removed one of the relays, and the relays are what is making that test shorted. It's just the way it's wired. They've basically got it wired so that if they've got one relay on, the motor's going one way. If they've got the other motor relay on, the motor's going the other way. So that makes complete sense. So I'm going to just do like I was talking about, replace these 3 caps. I don't know if that'll help anything. They are running right to the relays, though. So that may give us a little something. But then we may have to take that servo motor apart and see if there's anything to service. Maybe it is hanging and needs a little oil or something. I don't know. But I'll replace these and then put it back in, and we'll try it again. Okay, so it's still doing the same exact thing. I'm almost positive it's this servo motor. I think the thing is just, it's bogging down and screwing things up. It's pulling so many amps, I think, that it's making the game reset. And so I've been doing a little research. This is a linear actuator. You can see the black cable coming out here. If you go over here, I thought there were 4 wires going to it. There's not. There are, see the black cable? There are 2 wires going to it. The other 2 wires are power from the power supply. So the power is coming in here and then being switched with the 2 relays. That makes more sense. So the power's coming in. I thought it looked, remember I was saying I thought that looked like an input? It is. It's an input, then the relays switch it and reverse the voltage for the motor. Okay. This is just a cheap Chinese piece of crap. So I ordered another one just like it. So it's basically, there's a 2-inch throw. This is about 4 inches tall. I got one that can lift 330 pounds. And I think it's just old and screwed up. So we're going to try putting another one in it. So I've ordered it. When it comes in, we'll bolt it in and see if that fixes it. I think that may. So I took out the old one. I ordered a new one just like it. If you go on eBay, these things are all over eBay. They call them linear actuators. And this is kind of one of the smallest ones. It moves about 2 inches, something like that. So I ordered one, and it looks exactly like this. I put it in, and then we ran it, and I had my buddy Matt test the power while I was running it. And what was happening is right as this gets about all the way down and it's trying to pull that clip out to drop the bag, it really is pulling some amperage. And it was dropping the voltage from 12 volts down. And so it dropped it down to like 8 volts. And that's why it would reset. So the voltage is going from 12 to 5 on the board somewhere. There's some kind of voltage regulator on there. But it was just, since everything's running off the same 12-volt circuit, it was causing problems. So I don't know why this one would do that, but I ordered a brand new one. This one's from February of 2011. I ordered a brand new one. I put it in. I checked the power. It still was making it dip a little bit right when it gets in of its stroke. So we turned up the power a little bit to make. We had our voltage at like 11.8. I turned it up to 12.2. And so now whenever it goes all the way down, it's not enough to reset it. Everything's cool. And she's working. She's working. Can you believe it? But then we didn't have any sound. So figured out by taking the RCA cable out of the side of this little amp and plugging it into something else that the board is working fine, but this amp isn't. So if you listened really close, you could hear the sound in the background. This is just a cheap little amplifier, and it was just using the right side of the speaker connection, and it has a remote, a ground, and a B. This is just a little car amplifier made by Voicecraft, which I believe is just a inexpensive company, maybe overseas. Remember, the makers of this game, Chris Sport, are overseas. By overseas, I guess some of y'all are overseas. From Europe. So I think Voicecraft is from Europe. Now, I'm not trying to talk bad about European stuff. We got plenty of bad American stuff, but this was, I think this is just a cheaper little amp. And although it was getting power, it wasn't amplifying a thing. So you know what I did? I looked online, and I found the American Chinese-made version. This thing wires up exactly the same. Doesn't show the other side, but I already put it in there. It wires up exactly the same. It was the exact same thing. So I just unplugged this, unplugged this, screwed it in. We got sound. Can you believe it? So let me show you what she ended up looking like. All right, so we've got it here in the back of our shop, out of the way where people can come in and go, ooh, ah, ooh. I remember those. We might make some money off of it. It's set on $1 a play, I think. I think it's on free play right now, but if you take it off free play, it's on $1 a play. So, cleaned up pretty good. The bill acceptor works. We put some air in the punching bag. Got it looking pretty good. You can see this little cover here covers the bar so you don't break your wrist whenever you hit it, if you hit that accidentally. And the thing talks. Okay? So that should be up whenever you start it. So we'll start it.
Come on, just hit it. What are you waiting for?
Got the lights come on.
How long do I have to
Right? Now if you just barely hit it,
be scared?
the girl mocked you. So not much happened. There's a volume knob up in here. If I can reach it, maybe I can turn it up a little bit. Maybe. Oh yeah, there it is. So I'll turn it up as loud as it goes. And we'll do it again.
Come on, just hit it. What are you waiting for?
So if you hit it a little bit harder, maybe she'll mock us now. It's better with the lights off, right? Okay, we'll see if I can get a better swing at it.
Come on, just hit it. What are you waiting for? Come on. How long?
Oh, not quite.
Average.
Yeah.
Very average.
Average.
So how does it feel being average? You're gonna have to hit it again.
Okay.
Come on, just hit it. What are you waiting for? Come on.
Man, it's rigged. It's cheating.
What's wrong with you? You're looking kind of down to me.
All right, let's
Come
try
on,
again.
just hit it. What are you waiting for? Come on. How long do I have to wait for you?
Hit that one a little off. I can see how you could break your wrist on this thing. It may pretty accurately measure it.
Out of politeness, I'll tell you it was mediocre. You guys have no punch?
Ah,
Come
great.
on, just hit
Alright,
it.
one more time.
What are you waiting for? Come on. How long do I have to wait for you? Don't be scared. Just hit it.
Good God. Woo! Alright, we gotta try it one more time.
What can I say? Keep it that way.
I heard a little butt head in there. I'm gonna try the hook, the Mike Tyson left hook.
Come on, just hit it. What are you waiting for? Come on. How long do I have to wait for you? Don't be scared. Just hit it.
Ah, my hook's not as good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go as far as calling you Muhammad, but you're doing better.
I'm doing better.
Come on, just hit it. What are you waiting for? Come on. How long do I have to wait for you? Don't be scared. Just hit it.
I'm getting softer.
Well, no good, no good. But you know what? Have no fear. It'll be better.
Yeah.
Come on, just hit it.
Alright, this is definitely the last
What are you
time.
waiting for?
Definitely.
Come on.
Ah.
It wasn't that bad,
Oh, man.
but I wouldn't call it the best either. What a pity. Don't be scared. Just hit it. What are you afraid of? Just hit it. Just hit it. I say.
It stalled on me. Did you see that? It stalled on purpose.
Average.
Yeah.
Very average. So how does it feel being average? You're gonna have to hit it again. Come on, just hit it. What are you waiting for? Come on. How long do I have to wait for you? Don't be scared. Just...
Yeah, it's definitely got a governor on it.
What's wrong?
Yeah.
You're looking kind of down to me.
Come on, just hit it. What are you waiting for? Come on. How long do I have to wait for you? Don't be scared. Just hit it. Well, out of politeness, I'll tell you it was mediocre. What, you guys have no punch?
What? All right, folks. Well, there you go. You know what I think? I think it's probably pretty accurate. It goes up to 900 or something like that. I'm hitting 630, 650. That's probably about how hard I hit. You know, I'm not Mike Tyson here. They're saying I'm Evander Holyfield. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with being Evander Holyfield. All right, so there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. We need to get Conor McGregor in here to show us how it's done. You know, I'm left-handed like Conor. I just can't quite, you know, I don't have the, you know, I don't have really the, like Conor, you know, Conor, he you know, Conor, whenever Conor, boom, boom, just like, here, let's try it again.
Come on, just hit it. What are you waiting for?
So he has his hands up
Come on.
whenever he does it.
How long do I have
Kinda
to
like
wait
this.
for you?
And then it kind of goes all the way through.
Just hit
Right?
it. What are you afraid of?
Yeah, that's it. I should start, I should start fighting like a baboon,
Keep it that way.
like he does. If I get a baboon and a tiger tattoo on my chest, I'll hit harder. All right, folks, there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film it for you. Leave your comments down below, and make sure to check out, if you haven't already, we appreciate everybody that's been using our Amazon links. If you don't know about that, if you're going to go to Amazon and buy anything, use our link down below, and it gives us a tip. So we appreciate that. And then finally, last but not least, make sure to check out my brother Donnie. Boy, if he was here, I'll bet he'd really knock this thing out. He's known for hitting people. Back in the day. You know, he don't still do that, but make sure to check out my brother Donnie. If you don't know about him, he's literally my brother. So we have a channel here on YouTube. If you like watching us work on these old arcade games, you'd probably like watching Donnie and I work on old buildings. We've got a couple old buildings in a small town near here that we're fixing up, getting ready to rent to help revitalize downtown. So go check that out. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you on the next video.